Hey,
Hey,
I'm back.
howdy. Beauty.
I have returned.
It's a little moist on the table, too.
It's a lot moist. It's called do,
Do.
because in life we gotta do.
Do the do.
Just D-E-W it.
Do
Just do it.
It.
Look at my latte. It looks kind of a vibe, though.
It's a nice little glass cuppy. I like it. I like it. Oh.
I have this
Well-
thing where, like, I've learned that I use too much milk in my lattes. Like, because my mug is so big, I naturally use more milk. And I think I like the taste of that better. But also, I'm going to drink that in 40 seconds.
Fact.
So it's like a hybrid. I've actually got a really good scenario to start off today's podcast with.
Scenario.
A scenario. I have a lot of scenarios today I think would be funny.
Let's do it.
So, maybe it's on the news. Maybe we hear about it in social. But this is a known thing. That coffee is on the verge of extinction. And total supply will run out within a year. What do? Do we get into the coffee business to infiltrate the inside so we can get a big supply for ourselves?
I was going to say we find a way to, like, start cultivating our own beans. That's the...
We bring it out of extinction.
We have to bring it... Yeah, we have to be the ones to save this one.
But that's a big risk.
Hey, I mean, how much do you like coffee?
Enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I will partake with you.
I will start cultivating my own beans. I will go in and I will learn everything that I possibly can about growing a bean.
But it's not only that. We need to learn about why are the beans no longer growing.
This is fact. We need to understand who started this, first of all, because I need to kill that person.
Like, no, this has got to be a fair... Like, this is an important matter because all the experts in the world that already know the things we're trying to learn have lost hope on the existence of the coffee plant.
I mean, this is just a travesty at this point.
Do you think we double down on the Chagachino? We double down on an alternate coffee?
All of a sudden we become the matcha guys? You're like, it's not that bad.
The day after they announce the news, we just casually walk out of the podcast with 2 matchas.
Hey guys.
They're lavender matchas. They got the little purple split in them.
Yep, we're LA.
Guys, I will make this very clear. If you ever see matcha in our hands in this podcast, I give you permission to stop watching.
It's so funny. The other day we were at press with the guy who owns it, and he was giving me all the drinks to try.
Yeah.
He turns around at me, he goes, "You like this?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You like this?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You like this?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You like He doesn't like matcha.
He just looked at
He's like, he doesn't like matcha.
No. He's like, who the fuck likes matcha?
Yeah, it was so funny. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I'll drink it once a week just so I feel like I'm kind of like doing something good for my body. But he's like, I know I'm not doing shit for my body.
Yeah, I don't think matcha's
Not even
that
close.
beneficial to your health,
Not
let alone
even close.
any matcha you order at every modern day matcha place. Now, God, no.
And it's fake. It's all fake matcha. Did you know that wasabi is not real?
Most wasabi in places is not.
Yeah, when you go, it's just like literally ground horseradish.
If you go to like really high-end places, they'll have real wasabi.
But did you know that like real wasabi doesn't come out like in a paste? Like
How does it come out?
if it's real wasabi, it comes out either in slices, like slivers,
Okay.
or it comes out in like granules, like it looks like almost like stone ground mustard.
No. I know places serve our idea of wasabi with real wasabi.
It must
So
just
they'll
be-
make it with whatever that
It must
is.
just be blended then, because
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
real wasabi looks like a root,
Is it just like the green eggs and ham version of horseradish?
basically. Yeah,
That's why I fucking hate wasabi. Don't get me on the horseradish tangent.
horseradish is something.
That's like one of the most like satanic-ridden foods in the world.
Can we talk about the people who have like Bloody Marys? First of all, that's disgusting. And then they put horseradish in their Bloody Mary. Like,
I
You're a-
hate them.
that's not a.
I didn't even know
person.
people did that until right
That's
now.
a real thing.
If you get a Bloody Mary, I'll judge you on the inside, but I'm not gonna say anything.
No.
I respect you.
Yeah.
Like my brother's wife gets Bloody Mary sometimes. I judge her, but I respect her.
Yeah.
She popped out horseradish, zero respect.
She brought it around.
If you're having horseradish before 11 a.m., go home.
If you're having horseradish just in general in anything, you're just. It has to be a very selective thing that you have horseradish in. That it's like it can complement it. Horseradish just doesn't taste good.
What would something that terrible compliment though? Prime rib. Why the fuck would I ruin my prime rib with that?
Maybe as a rub. You could like.
You gotta rub it on my ass cheeks,
Yeah,
not on the
yeah,
fucking
yeah, rub it on the
meat
ground.
I'm eating.
Yeah. Easy to clean up like oil in your garage.
I'd rather rub horseradish on my meat than the meat I'm eating.
I wouldn't want that anywhere near my meat.
I don't either, Scotty. It was an example.
Hey,
God, dude, it's It is 7:25. I went to California for 2 weeks, and I came back, and the sun started rising an hour later.
I've been up here.
2 weeks. Why is the sun changing that much?
It's winter time.
Does it change by like a minute a day? No, way more.
It's like 7:15 right now, 7:30, right?
Here, let's find it out. This morning it was 7:15, I believe on the dot. No, it was 7:13. It said. Tomorrow morning, it's 7:14.
Ooh.
So the sun goes a minute a day. I left for 14 days, but the sun comes up 40 minutes later. Where's the math there?
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe when I was leaving, it was at like 6:55.
No, because I mean, I've been up here still. It's been slowly coming up later and later. But I mean, it's like
Is it a minute, or you think some days it just goes 2-3 minutes?
some days it's just off. It didn't clock. It clocked in late.
Dude, I keep.
One day I get up, it's like 6:15. The next day it's like I get up, it's already bright out.
I still think that would be like one of the creepiest things ever, if the sun, like the rhythm, the
It had its own
direction,
time.
it just it was just off one day, like
Oh.
completely, like we said, sun rose to about like 10%, and then just started going back the other direction. We would shit.
I always thought it'd be
That'd be
funny.
terrifying.
I always thought it'd be funny if like you couldn't tell. You could tell, but it had to be like the guys from like the weather station. You had to tell you like, hey, sun's coming up at about 8:15 tomorrow. And like the next day, it's be like, it looks like it's gonna be at 12 noon today.
Yeah,
like,
you
you're
just don't know.
Never know when it's gonna come up. It's just like, oh shit. Like,
I feel like they'd have good ratings because people would be reliant on
that'd
the
be
report.
so funny. Like you're just like you can never like tell what you're like. All right, we're going on a trip tomorrow. We're going out to the lake. You gotta go at 7:15 at night because that's when the sun's coming out. Like,
Okay, here's the weird thing though. I don't see that being reasonable because how would if the sun, okay, the sun is predictable, right?
Mhm.
So the weatherman can predict it.
Mhm.
The weatherman, the fucking internet now. We're acting like that's the only prediction. But if the sun was unpredictable, I think we'd all find out at the same time. Like I don't think they would know.
yeah, probably. I mean, I guess you could.
We'd only know when it came out.
I guess it would, because what if like, because the reason the sun does what it does is because it's kind of on like the same like loop system.
It's
around
on a
it.
trajectory.
Yeah, so like, what if it was just like the world just spun kind of like,
Yeah, so I'm saying.
just had no idea, but you could, if you did that, you could kind of like track and kind of see where it would possibly be
think
around
so?
the time. Yeah, you'd be able to kind of like tell, but it would take science. It wouldn't just be like, oh well, it's been doing this forever. It's probably gonna come around this time.
I was gonna say they can tell the weather, but at the end of the day, can they fucking really? Because it is really not accurate.
No, I mean they could tell you what it looks like is coming, but I mean there's been times where they're like, yeah, storms coming through, and like a gust of wind came through and took it, and it's like, oh well, nope, not here anymore.
You think there's ever been a time where like we have a Category 5 hurricane approaching,
Just didn't
everyone evacuate, and like there was never even a storm? Not even like it's just a blue sky, sunny day.
Well, it's happened before with like volcanoes where they like estimate like the volcano's gonna erupt or whatever, and it's gonna cause, because volcanoes cause like that kind of storm all the time, and like they'll be like, oh yeah, everybody like bunker down, and the thing just goes like, just like a bubble, and nothing changes. And they're just like, well,
Shut the fuck up.
all right.
They got like a live aerial view from a helicopter documenting it, and it's just a little
Looks
gas
like
bubble.
Looks like a fart in a hot tub.
It's happening. There it is. Oh.
Oh, well,
Okay.
that was impressive.
Well, false alarm,
like
folks.
a little bit of smoke.
Book your flights home. It's like Maui. Everyone already got off the island.
Everybody's like saying goodbye to their loved ones because they think they're all gonna die.
Speaking of volcanoes, I was gonna tell you my dream last night.
Oh, there we go.
Well, this morning I had this weird thing where I didn't realize where I was in my dream until I was looking at him next to me. I'm like, oh, you were in my dream. Like I saw him and it reminded me, because I didn't know. You know what I mean? It wasn't one of those dreams where I just woke up, but now I remember it. I don't know how this happened or how I got into this, but it so happened that we were hiking inside a volcano out of nowhere. Me and a bunch of people, just casually.
Was that it?
I don't know. I thought when I looked at you, I thought maybe it would. No, it
No,
doesn't
no,
seem.
no.
It doesn't seem.
Yeah, it was an off day.
Maybe you were, and I just wasn't worried about you.
No, you're
because
you're
what-
probably on your trip.
This was 2 weeks ago. You're right. The time of reference was
Yep.
2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Wow, the light's just like terrible right now, but whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's raw.
We're getting back to it.
They're not here to see us. They're here to listen.
Listen.
To us. Available now on iTunes and no, I'm just kidding. Soon though. I really should probably get on that.
Spotify.
I should probably get on that. And so I'm hiking this volcano, and I have my dog, and he's like off leash. Like, what a liability for my dog to be off leash. And then
Yeah,
as a
off,
dog, I was thinking, because in this hike there was like, like the thick magma
Yeah.
that like flows really slow. That like if you kicked it, like, so your foot wouldn't go into it, it'd probably just bounce off the surface.
Yeah.
That was flowing all around us, but I'm a human, so I know that. Rory, I was scared that he was just gonna step on that, thinking it was the ground, and just melt his foot off. Which this is also gonna lead me to another really good conversation that I'm really excited we're gonna have. I just remember this. And then Rory starts like going down this like little like sub tunnel on his own, and I'm chasing Rory while he's walking. Rory's my dog, by the way. While he's walking through a volcano, it's very stressful.
Huh.
So I guess the moral of the stream is,
Stream.
it's the story, but the stream
Got it.
is if you're gonna hike a volcano, leave your dog at home.
Because like, now that you brought that up, like, I don't think we give dogs enough credit. Like, I just think dogs are. I love dogs. I think they're. I met the most amazing dog yesterday. Side tangent.
What kind of dog?
Golden Retriever, obviously.
Of course.
I was
it's
at press and he was like standing there. His name was George.
Of course it was.
Dude, nicest Golden Retriever anyway. I
Can we come back to
yeah,
George?
we'll come back to George in a second.
If we remember.
George is incredible.
If we remember.
Oh my god, George is
Okay.
incredible. We should have George up with Georgia, the dog that's over here. A golden with a golden?
A nice off-hued palette, because Georgia was like a white cream
Yep.
golden.
This was like a traditional fat head golden.
Oh, the thicker the golden, the thicker the hair, the thicker the face.
Dude, the nicer the dog.
Ugh.
Like, you just want to cut. Like, I was literally like, I will pay you to just let your dog come and sleep at my house one night.
It's therapy.
Just sleep at my house.
You know Tucker Budson?
Yeah.
What if, like, that's a prime time golden.
That's yep. Back to the dogs.
Yes.
Anyway, so, because I was walking Rory a lot while you were gone. And it was like,
that.
there's like, all over the place we have little grates where like water runs into. You know, like.
I thought you said grapes.
Grapes, yes, we have
I was
grapes.
like,
we have grapes
where are
everywhere.
we, in Napa?
We're in Napa. This
Okay.
is great.
Grates.
We have grates.
Yes,
on
like
the roads.
drainage.
Yes, exactly. And Rory, for some reason, likes to walk over and sniff what's ever going on in there. Like
Dogs love the worst smells.
there must just be
possible.
something down there that he just enjoys.
Mm.
And so I was going on runs with him, and I'd be running, and
You
he
run?
kind of like, he was running.
You run?
I do.
You started a bulk and then started running at the same time?
It's been a weird week.
Okay.
And so like, but I'm running, and like he'll kind of like start to like tangent off a little bit, and I'm like, Rark, like let's go this way, and then there'll be like a grate coming, and I'm like, there's no way he'd just like run into that. There's no way. But we'd be running, and he would just be on like a dead sprint to the grate, and I'm like, let's go.
Can he not run over the grate?
No, because it's one of those ones that's like down here in front, like I'll show you when we go on a walk next time. But it's like up there, but it's got like it almost looks like cattle fencing, where it's like
Like
a bunch
his
of,
paw could fall in it,
yeah, exactly.
and he's about to run over.
And he's just like running dead sprint toward it, and like obviously it's gonna be there. And I'm like, oh, let's go this way. And so like one day I was like, I'm just gonna kind of like get in front of him and see if he kind of keeps going. And it was like run, and then just like dead stop smell. Like didn't like just like did not even like take a second to like kind of like look at it and go like, oh, I'm gonna go around this. It was just like run, stop. Ooh, like look down at it. I was like, if I was running and I didn't see it, like dog paw in broke fucked. Like it was like
Jordan.
like yeah,
Hey.
like hey dude, so your dog just
Rory's
fell
paws sideways.
he fell into a hole. Like
Ugh.
but I was thinking that I was like, I wonder if dogs kind of like if he knows, because there's a part of me that wants to be like he wouldn't even run over that because he kind of saw it coming, but do dogs like just run into that shit once in a while? Like do you think dogs kind of have a sense of like, okay, there's something coming, maybe don't step on it, that's not ground? Because when we walk, Rory doesn't like walking on grass.
Yeah.
Hates it. Like, you think he knows like something's coming where he's like, I'm just not gonna put my foot in that? Or do you think it's just like, yeah, we'll see what happens? Like,
I don't want to give dogs too much credit.
that's what I'm saying.
Some of them are very smart creatures. We're also using Rory as a baseline. Rory's, I'd say he's on the upper end of intelligence for dogs, but he's also kind of an idiot.
I'd say he's right, like, he's book smart.
I think I think he's obviously street smart. I think the
would-
dogs with, the more stubborn your dog, the more intelligent. Because
Yeah.
your dog's actually playing the system. Right? I think a dumb dog will be very obedient. Because he's just like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Sit? Okay.
What's it? Oh, that's one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, in my head, like, and I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, there's dumb dogs that probably don't fucking listen to shit.
We had a neighbor, just like brought it up. We had a neighbor that lived next to us when we lived in Tucson, and he had this old basset hound.
Yeah.
And this dog knew like all of his like commands, but knew them in different, like didn't understand them. So you'd be like, "Hey, sit," and he'd fall over.
Shut the fuck up.
Or you'd be like, "Lay down," and he'd like sit up and put his
Puts
legs
his paw
up.
out.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, he knew all the things, he just didn't know them in order. So you'd be like, "Hey, lay down," and he'd just leave.
That's awesome.
Like it was like I don't know how they did it, but like
you're
he
like
just-
come and he stays.
yeah, you never knew what he was gonna like. It was like, but it wasn't even like direct opposite. It was just like whatever he felt like doing, he would just. So you'd be like, "Hey, get out of here, lay down." Like
He heard words, and then in his head he's got all these things. He's like, I'm just gonna pick one.
all right, cool. Or you'd be like, "Hey, come here," and he'd like go to the door and sit down and be ready to go outside. Like it was just the weirdest thing. Like I don't know why that. I can't remember.
I think there's this
What's that
difference.
dog?
I think there's dogs, dumb dogs,
Mhm.
where you say sit, and they look at you and go, "What the fuck does that mean?" And then there's dogs like Rory, where you say sit, and he goes, "I know exactly what that means, but I'm not fucking doing that."
Fuck off.
And so that's where I kind of bridge the gap between a dumb dog
Mhm.
and an intelligent dog that still doesn't listen to commands. I would I listen, it's bias. I'd like to say Rory's intelligent and he's just like a stubborn little dick. Maybe he's an idiot. But in the grand scheme of things, like, where the fuck were we going with this anyway? Who cares? I have a way better story. So,
Let's go.
I was at a French restaurant the other day eating my
Mm.
tartines. You saw. That was exquisite.
I can
And-
make you tartines by the way today if you want them. With that bread.
Oh my god, true. We should.
I did that while you were gone.
How? Well, you tried it.
It's phenomenal.
You tried tartines and didn't report to me.
I mean, I wanted to make sure it was good before
How
before
good
I
was
was
it?
like, it was really good, honestly.
I mean, keep in mind, espresso, it's a little different. Drip
espresso.
coffee makes more sense.
It was. Don't get me wrong. It was really good. It's the bread. I think that's where like
Yeah,
it does
yeah.
soak up really well. God, I'm fucking spitting all over the place.
It's okay. Soak it up.
It was good and it works. It does work and it's a good like alternative. But it wasn't like I can see why it would be great with like a croissant.
Oh, with the croissant,
I know
it
that, like-
absorbs the whole thing.
Yeah, like it absorbed it, but it was just kind of like what you have to do is you have to toast the bread heavily
Of course.
for it to like not just be like this is mush.
Yeah, you don't want mush.
No, yeah, exactly.
Only if it's a croissant, you might want mush.
You know what's great is tiramisu.
Like in general.
Just fuck yeah, I just like that's just soaked up bread with
But it's like coffee.
coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Tartines. I'll explain it vaguely. It's a French thing. You essentially take bread, you put honey and butter on it. I don't like butter, so I avoid it. Don't tell my family in France. They know that. And you dip it in coffee, which usually dip it in like a cafe au lait, which is drip coffee with milk. You used espresso. Did you use real milk?
Mhm.
You did.
Mhm.
You fucking
Milk.
center, huh?
Me. Well,
Wow, it's really fucking bright here. Oh, I guess you're not a milk. You just don't drink whole milk because calorically it doesn't make sense, or you just think it's.
for some reason, like if I drink whole milk, like I can fuck with it for like a week, but then all of a sudden I get acne. Like it just randomly comes
That
out.
happens to me
It's just
too.
weird. Like
You know that the prevention of that? Drink way more of it. Today's podcast is sponsored by
tomahawk shit.
Tom Hawk. Tom Hawk. I expect for my payment in tartines.
Wow, that's dope on you.
I expect 400 tartines
Yeah,
delivered tomorrow.
you look,
I look American as fuck
you
right
look
now.
Like you're going to like a wrestling match.
I do. Or the lake.
WWE.
Like I'm going to the river on a winter day. And yeah, I don't know how we got into the topic of tartines because I was eating tartines.
Yeah, French restaurant. Sorry.
I was at Moulin, shout out best French restaurant in California, and I don't know where the fuck this came into my mind, but I was like, I'm very curious about what it'd be like to jump into the center of a volcano. I think I saw a volcano on my phone, erupting,
Maui.
maybe, and yeah, it was a clip, and the people were just standing really close to this like severely erupting volcano.
Yeah, I know.
I guess it wasn't erupting; it was just like boiling.
I have a friend over there right now, and she took a picture of it, and she's like in it.
Oh, is that the one? Maybe I saw.
Might have been, yeah.
Okay,
I shared
and
it.
she was in pretty much inside.
She's
of it.
literally in it. Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing?
It was KTLA, and they were posting that she actually fell into it.
She was vlogging on her way down.
And I was like, what would happen if you jumped into a volcano? And then I got thinking, I'm like, I'm so curious about it. Because in my head, it's like I could never really have that answer
I'm
question.
so curious about it. I gotta call Scotty and ask his opinion.
No, it's worse. I'm so curious about it that if the world was ending, I think that would be my way out. So I could have that question answered for me.
I think like,
What would it feel like?
yeah.
And then we got into a really heavy discussion of like scientifically what would happen to your body. You got a little piece of like saliva or
For
something.
later.
I just give it a nice wipe. Wow, that was a nice stroke.
Yeah, the beard.
And then we just got into this big debate on like what would actually happen to your body. And then I looked it up, and it seems that as no one really knows. But what do you think would happen if you? And we're talking so, the density of magma is about 3 times that of water. Okay. And so, but I think the density might change, or the fluidity might change. I'm not sure if the density stays the same, but like if you look at the way that slow-moving magma, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could run and jump on that, and I mean you'll probably lose a foot, but it's gonna rebound very hard. like a hard substance.
So here's my argument to you.
Okay.
Magma becomes like that
Yeah.
because it hits air. So to jump into a volcano, it's not going to be that.
Well, correct, but I mean, it's still exposed to air.
It's still exposed to air, but the deeper you go is the more it's like
You think
heated.
it's more heat,
It's
so the
more,
air affects it less?
It's more heat. It's the air affects less, so it's more liquidy.
Correct.
And so, like, if you're jumping into a volcano, you're jumping into that.
So that's okay. So that's
Yeah.
our thing.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, the point was the internet said that because the density of magma is so high, that it's possible that you might actually like break your neck before you even fall into it.
But that's the thing. Is like, where are you jumping from?
I'm talking like, you know that those videos of magma, like literally like liquid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like if you jumped into that, you'd sink a bit,
That's
or
the-
you'd float.
'cause
Like you're going into it.
Well, so here's my argument: is you've never seen Lord of the Rings.
I have not.
Okay.
Is my question answered, Lord of the Rings?
Your question's basically answered in Lord of the
Okay.
Rings. You like.
It's a movie though, so
Yes.
not really.
Well, I don't know, because you would probably fall and you'd land on it, but it's kind of like it's almost like quicksand, where you'd land on it, you'd stop for a second, and then it would just like absorb you into it, because it's thick, but it's not watery thick.
Part of me though still believes that the center of a fucking volcano, I'd dive into it.
I just feel like you wouldn't even make it to the like. That thing is so hot. Like, I feel like
You wouldn't be conscious by the time you hit
Yeah,
it.
there's a part of me that thinks that, like, you would just be a fireball by the time you hit the magma or the, like, liquid, and then it would just be, like, it would just engulf you and be gone. Like, it would just, like, instantaneous.
So here's what I've read. Our original hypothesis was that it's so hot that you would pop or evaporate. Like, your body would heat up, the liquid in your body would heat up so quick it would just pressure build up and you
Disintegrate.
fucking pop. Or, my theory is you'd literally just disintegrate. It's so hot it would just
That's what
like
I'd say.
as you enter it, you're just gone.
Yeah, you just melt.
Then I looked it up, and it seems as if that's not true, and it seems more similar to what you're saying. But I will give you specifics of what the internet says. A couple of things. One of the things said there is a chance you just break your neck on impact. I think if you jump into like slow molten lava, yeah, you just hurt yourself
Jump into it.
before you, and then it would ignite your entire body into flames very quickly, and then you'd burn and you turn into like Darth Vader pretty quick, right?
I was just about to say, like, we kind of saw what would happen, like, in Star
But he
Wars.
like vaguely touched it a little bit, and it ignited his whole body.
Well, yeah, it blew him up.
Yeah. And so that could happen. The other thing that it says is your lungs would melt, like essentially
it.
quickly. I don't know the word they used. Melt, like not melt, and it wouldn't ignite. Your lungs would like burn. They would just
Exactly.
you'd burn your lungs in a millisecond and die.
Yeah.
Now that's already if you haven't lost consciousness from the gases. Being that close to the volcano already, you're probably already unconscious, so you'd feel none of this.
True.
Then it said either if that doesn't happen, you'd hit it, and upon hitting it, your entire body would ignite.
Yep.
Like, nothing really said as severe as what we were thinking. But I still believe you jump into the middle of that molten-ass puddle of goo, you are just evaporating.
I think you're gone. Like, I don't think it's not, because, but then you also,
Well, I don't think that sentence could be wrong in any regard.
But
I think
what's-
we're all in agreement that you are gone.
but what's weird is, then you look at, like, the city of Pompeii, where that volcano decimated everything, but when they uncovered it, there was still people, but they were just encased in lava. Like, that's a thing. Like, literally, people, they didn't burn. It's just like, they've literally found people.
Because their bones, so their skin.
Have you seen it, though? Like, seen the people of Pompeii?
No.
Like, it's
That's
gnarly.
a funny sentence. The people of Pompeii.
No, when that volcano came over the top of it, it literally, like, it just encased everybody. Like, nobody, like, they're just encased in magma. Like, it didn't burn any, like, I'm sure there's, like, their skin got, like, ripped off and stuff, but, like, look at this shit. Like, yeah.
If you're here with us listening at, it's like 7 a.m. for you and you're listening to people burning in a volcano, I salute you.
Look at that shit.
Fuck off!
I'm not kidding.
No.
Yeah, that's the people of Pompeii. When Pompeii exploded and the magma came down and, like, it covered the entire city, and then when they excavated it, they found all of the people in the city.
Bro, they're like
They're perfect.
perfectly intact.
Yeah, they're just literally encased in magma.
Oh my god, our theories are completely wrong.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's weird about it. Is I don't, because then you think, like, you watch magma come down. Like, have you ever watched?
Wait, dude, they fucking have one of these people just sitting in a museum.
It's museums, yeah, yeah. The people of Pompeii. It's a real thing.
Oh my god, imagine how creepy that'd be staring at this.
You know what's
And
even
you know there's
scarier?
an actual fucking human being in there.
You know what's even scarier is, like, can you imagine, like, breaking that apart and, like, finding, like, what's inside of it?
What if they're perfectly intact?
That would be crazy.
They're just burned. They look like Deadpool. Like identical to Deadpool.
Like an avocado.
Yeah, Like an avocado
Fucked
fucked
another
an
avocado, but it was a hate fuck.
Ah! That's what the oh, what are they called? An archaeologist, he says that he looks like this. Wow, that guy looks like an avocado
Like,
fucked
fuck
another
another
avocado.
He was hate fucking it.
Wow.
But dude, like that's what's crazy. But then you watch like, have you ever watched like the videos of like magma coming down a mountain, of it like slowly going and like taking it over everything? Like if you watch one of those videos, like if there's like a tree in the way, the tree just kind of goes like, oh well, fuck me, just like
Yeah, of
just,
course.
and then
probably ignites.
and just gone. Yeah. So it's like, how did these people just
do you
get
think?
like?
Do you think?
These people were just very slow.
You've got all these people laying down, but then also there's just this magma encased home, and everything's
It is.
just intact, but it's just encased in magma.
Dude, it is.
It's like New York City, but just everything's a little covered
Just
in
like,
lava.
oh, this guy was reading Playboy when it came down. He's got his
It's
magazine.
Billionaire Row, and it's just perfectly encased in magma.
Or if everybody, like nobody ran, because the thing about this is nobody could control it because
Yeah.
it just exploded and happened. Like that's why there's all these people like, because
Also, my guess is it probably landed on people.
yeah. So you're like, your first thought is like, well, why didn't these people leave? Like, but imagine if everybody just like,
That's not my first thought, Scotty. I don't see this encased person on the ground and go, why didn't you just leave?
yeah. Well, it's like because that was my first thought. I was like, is it? Because my first thought was magma's slow, so that means that you were just kind of like, we'll wait for it.
I think magma that we've seen on Instagram is slow.
Yeah.
I don't know if magma actually coming out of
Exactly.
volcanoes is that slow.
But just like think about that. Like you're like, we got some time.
It's gonna take a good
Don't
hour.
worry
to
about
breathe.
it. Yeah, you have like a dinner party over.
I'm
It's
making
like,
espresso.
yeah. Should we be scared? Like, nah, don't worry. We got a couple hours. Like, just let it
It's
come.
6. It shouldn't be here till 7:30. We'll just
we're
dip around
fine.
7.
Yeah, we'll take off. You know, we'll go see a movie. We'll come back afterwards. You
You're
know?
just eating dinner and the house engulfs and things. Fuck.
Oh, damn, we missed it.
We shit.
We should have been drinking.
That was like the end of What was that new movie recently with Jonah Hill? Who's the girl from Mamma Mia?
Oh,
She plays the president.
yeah.
It's not called This Is the End.
It's not Don't Look Up, is it?
Don't Look Up.
Yeah, Don't Look Up.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
The last scene of Don't Look Up was it's pretty funny. Like
Is it?
the world is ending and they accepted it and they're just having like a dinner. Like they're literally having a dinner.
Could you like put yourself in that position right now? Like I think you and I had this conversation after pizza one night, or after we went and had Pazookies. It was like
What?
Yeah, when we went with Josh and Katie and all of them.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say I've never had a Pazookie with you. in my
Yeah,
life.
no, we sat there and we watched them.
We
have
also didn't eat
Pazookies.
Pazookies.
Yeah, we watched them have them.
It was cutting season. No, I was
What?
probably bulking. Why didn't I eat a Pazookie?
No, you were cutting. It was the beginning of cutting season.
I had to be. There's no way.
Yeah,
I would have
'cause
eaten
it-
like 4 of them. if
Because
I
it was
bulking.
right before Halloween.
Facts.
But like, if the world was ending, last thing you would do, like if it was just kind of like, we know it's over.
Mhm.
You came to terms with it as much as you could.
I think it's clear. I think I'd get together with every loved one in my life and have the biggest reception that includes everybody and their friends and their friends. So it'd be like the groups of the world would like sanction. Like say there's a group of 1,000 people, right, 1,000,000 people, and they all went to mutual groups. So there'd just be like these like
Pods.
million groups of like 1,000 people that all know. It'd be like giant weddings. So if a lot of people you don't know,
Mhm.
but a lot of people you know, and I would just spend the last day together. Have
Feel
like, a
that.
really nice event. I also think there'd be something very comforting in the fact that we're all leaving the same day. I don't think it'd be scary.
I don't think it'd be scary.
If 7 billion people were going to experience it simultaneously, I don't think the thought would be scary.
I just think you'd have to be there together. Like I know that there's those like outliers who'd be like, I don't really want to be around my family in this time. Like I just
They think they're
be-
tight.
Yeah,
People like brag about.
yeah, exactly.
I don't like people.
Bro, I'm going surfing.
I don't fuck with
Yeah,
people.
dude, I'm gonna go surfing.
Yeah.
Like, but also I feel like it'd be kind of strange to be like, it's been good. It's hey,
You think
Thanks.
You think it'd be like that dinner conversation, like what's the best thing that happened to you this
Yeah,
week? You think it'd be
exactly, yeah.
What's the best thing that happened to you ever?
yeah, I think it'd be a lot of. You remember Thanksgiving back in 1986? Like, what? Like, no, let's not think about that right now. Let's
Yeah.
talk about like the moment. Like, let's be present.
I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
It'd be like a chill party.
It'd be terrible, but it'd be cool.
Yeah, you're all kind of like watching it.
That's a creepy thought.
Because I always think of like going back to movies and Star Wars. Like
Oh boy.
in Rogue One, when the Death Star shoots at the end of the movie and it hits the water,
Yeah.
and they're standing on the beach and they're just watching this giant thing coming at them, and all they do is just kind of give each other a hug, and then the screen
Don't
just goes.
some of them leave and then like some of them
Some
decide
of them
to
leave,
stay?
but some of them can't get off because there's no ship to get off,
Yeah.
and so they just kind of accept the fate. But it's like you're watching this just cloud of fire coming at you, and you're just like, oh,
You're not about to feel it though.
you're not. But it's just kind of.
But
like,
I wouldn't watch it. I'd get distracted.
I would just be like, what if it's gonna hurt? Like,
This this won't hurt.
This
Might hurt.
This is gonna be weird. Like
I'm like, nah, this isn't gonna hurt, and it comes close. I'm like, all right, this is looking very.
This
painful.
is getting really hot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, you might even die before it hits you.
It might. Yeah. That was.
That's like if a nuke goes off. I guess you'd see like the giant plume.
That's what I'm saying. That's
And
what happened.
you've got 30 seconds to a minute and a half before you absolutely evaporate.
Yeah.
Or unless you can take shelter in like a refrigerator or like a sewage drain.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much a sewage drain would help you. I've heard in a nuke that like, I heard this from my father. I asked like this is like scientific. My dad claims in a nuke you're better off dying than living. Like you're hoping you should die because
Probably.
the repercussions you're gonna deal with living are just detrimental.
Probably, because you basically have to rebuild the world right when you get out, and there's nothing to rebuild it with.
Also, you look like Hiroshima, and the way that people were left after is not a very.
No, it's not ideal.
The amount of radiation you experience is disgusting.
Because that's another thing, is like, if you make it through that blast, like, you come out, you're probably going to die pretty quick. I mean, just with the radiation.
That's what I'm saying,
I don't
right?
think you're going to even make it. Like, there's no
Your
point in
cells
making
are
it.
fucked.
Yeah, there's no point in even making it. Like, you know,
So you think if there's a plume, drive towards it as fast as you can?
just try to just stand there and take it. Find beauty in it. Be like, wow, that's really pretty. And just, you're like, gone.
Whoa! They're just like
they're just
you
gone.
just Avengers
Just
that
let
shit.
it. Yep, just let it take you.
You just
Yep. Out.
Inevitable.
That's what you say. Hey, Jordan, punch. Ah, fuck, we missed it.
I go, what?
Damn it.
All right, we got some cool topics. Let's get into topics.
That's it.
It's only 7:50. I feel like we've been talking for like 6 hours. Now, I have topics we could talk about, or I have these scenarios I wrote down that I think are really funny.
That's good. Whatever you want.
Let's do some scenarios. We're gonna give you guys an idea. This is like a new take on the pod that I think would be funny to do. Because I had all those scenarios written down about like how you could use perspective, and then I forgot that's why I wrote them down. So I took a second and I was reading through them, and I was like, what are these? These are kind of cool. But then I'm like, oh, that's what that was for. I'm like, I'm gonna write new scenarios. So like, a homeless guy approaches you and asks if he can give you money. What do you what do you do? What do you do?
God, first of all, what am I wearing?
Are
I'd
you
be like-
offended?
I wouldn't be offended. I'd take a second to be like, I'd be like, sure. Like,
Did you take it?
yeah, why not?
Or do you offer him back money?
Well, I'd probably
Or is
take.
that rude?
I think my thing is I'd be so confused, so I'd take it and then see what he did, and then just be like, is there any like thing here? And then if it was like super homeless, I'd be like, okay, well, here, take it back. Like I would kind of want to see. I would want to see what it played out.
I've got this theory that if a homeless person, say they had $10 on them, and they had it once, and they went out to 10 different groups of people, or multiple, however long they could preserve this $10, and offered $1 to people, I genuinely think they'd make money by the end of the day. I think more people would give them money for the gesture in return than if they had just asked for it. Genuinely.
I just like.
I'd give money.
I would too, but I'm very. There he goes again, spitting on our roof.
It's outdoors.
It's okay. I've come to terms with it, but I just think it'd be one of those situations where you kind of have to.
I
see
can't spit
what's
with the glasses on. I look like an absolute dickhead.
just that's okay.
Sorry,
Just
I
like
didn't mean okay.
see what's happening. Like why? Like I
Ask.
got. I
You
wouldn't.
think you dive deeper?
I would just be like, what is this for? Like you know,
Yeah.
like let him give it to me, and then kind of stand there for a second and see what came of it, and then like nothing. Okay.
Don't
well,
you think that kind of feel weird though if you actually left your day and you have like $1 or $5 or $10 in your hand the rest of the day and you're like, this was given to me by a fucking homeless person.
I think, but
Why did I take this?
But I think I'd be the kind of guy who'd like, I know, like, if they gave me it, I'd be like, okay, and then I'd go find somebody else to give it to.
Would you not feel as if the rest of the day you're questioning, like if you took it, I get it, right? To each their own. But if you took it, would you not question the rest of the day, like, why did I accept this homeless man's money?
I wouldn't question that. I would just be like, I think, because I always dive into people's mentality.
Yeah.
Like, you just know me. Like, I always want to know what somebody's thinking.
Yeah.
Like, because I know how I feel when I give. And so my entire day would be like, I wonder how it must feel to have absolutely nothing
And give.
and give.
That's a good point.
Isn't that a weird,
Like, what if he's the world's happiest homeless man?
Exactly. Like everything he gets, he's giving away. So I'm just like, that would be my thought the entire day is like, what does that feel like to just have nothing?
What if that's the secret out of homelessness? Is to devote your entire life to giving, and somehow the universe will
Well,
bring
isn't
it all
that
back.
like, isn't that monks? Like monks give up everything and they
Yeah.
give up all their worldly
They
possessions.
give up
and
worldly
then,
possessions.
And then
yeah.
they like just constantly like give of themselves.
How do
So
monks make money?
don't think they do.
Where's the finances of these beautiful ass monk temples in the Himalayas?
That's what I'm saying.
These
Like,
$10 million temples. Who paid for that temple?
I actually had a buddy.
China?
I had a buddy who I just recently found out devoted his life and became a monk.
A monk.
A monk. And
He dresses like Avatar Aang.
I saw his family over the holidays. They
Okay.
were up here, and I ran into him, and I was asking him how because he went to high school with me, and I was like, how's he doing? Like, yeah, John, how's he doing? And they're just like, we haven't seen him in 4 years. And I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, do you go to like war or something? And like
I'd say prison.
I didn't
my
know.
first
Like, I was
guess.
just like, well, like, is he in like the military? And like, no, he went somewhere in like Southeast Asia, and he became a monk at a temple. And they're like, we just haven't seen him. And I was like, so what does that mean? And they're like, he can't contact us. We haven't heard from him. He told us he was doing it, and he's gone.
That sounds mad fun, because if I was the dad, I'd devote my life to finding my son.
He's just
At his
but,
temple.
like, just think about how that is as like a parent. Like, where's your kid? No idea. Like,
Yeah.
he's gone. Like,
But he's probably in good hands.
but he went to a temple, like, shaved his head, and it's one of those ones where they just don't talk. Like, the kid he probably hasn't said a word in 4 years.
Wait, why don't they talk?
They just
Monks
don't.
talk, I think.
Not all of them. Some they devote their lives to silence too. Like a lot of them.
Really?
Yeah, where that's a life of silence. Solitude.
I've seen some monks out and about, like in just the middle of the city. It's pretty fucking cool. I'm like, whoa.
Like, oh,
Like in a full monk fit. I can picture the fit right now.
monk fit.
A monk fit.
Damn.
That's a good company name. By
We
the
should
way.
start
monk
that.
fit.
Yeah, monk fit.
It's like monk fruit, but monk fit.
Fact.
You start a company based in monk fruit. It's a monk fruit company.
It's a monk fruit.
Called Monk Fit.
Or it's a monk fruit company that also makes fitness apparel.
Wow, monk fit.
Yep.
That's a good point.